Lyle Beniga is a globally recognized hip-hop choreographer. He has worked with clients like Usher, Christina Aguilera, and Hilary Duff. And his dances have appeared at the Grammy Awards, MTV Awards, and the movie Fame. His choreography is breathlessly dynamic and energetic. In Korea, Lyle kicked off his career training idol stars after he became friends with Park Jin-young. Since then, he has created dances for Taeyang, 2PM, Kim Hyun-joong, and the most recent debut, EXO-K. Lyle's passion and creativity are providing fuel for the K-pop wave, rising all over the world.
Never did I pedal coke, but Tony Lewis said I'm dope. And Tony Jr. said I'm the whole big homie, hopes that I am close. Who's on my line? I'm blowing up, these bitches calling me.
Lyle Beniga was once an ordinary engineering student. But when he encountered hip-hop and dance, it was love at first dance. And he's never stopped dancing since. Lyle's sincerity and energy has built up his impressive career. But his passion for dance shows no signs of stopping. Lyle is also a mentor for dancers and aspiring choreographers around the world. Lyle's life focuses on how to express music and emotion through the body, and his soul is captured in every move. Join me, Susan Lee McDonald, and hear his smooth moving story on this week's The Interview. Lyle, it's so great that you're here on The Interview, and I'm so glad that you've come to Korea to do your work and also make some time for us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here at The Interview. I'm Susan Lee McDonald, and we've got the amazing choreographer and dancer Lyle Beniga. He's come straight from the US to do a workshop for a lot of students here, and we're going to pick his brain about who he is and what kind of influence he's making on the dance scene worldwide. Lyle, tell me a little bit about what it's like to be well-known, world-famous choreographer who works with some of the best talent in the world.
Man, it's kind of overwhelming at the same time as like surprising. You know, I don't know what to make of it because I realize it. I understand that there's a lot of people that have seen like my YouTubes or even like seen me perform on television, but to know that is not in my mind all the time until I actually come to like a place like here and teach kids that know my choreography from what they've seen, and they can follow it, and just the look in their eyes that it means so much to them that I'm here to share with them. It's like, man, it's really overwhelming. I can't, I'm at a loss for words for it every single time. So because I just do what I love to do, and people just receive it, and how they receive it is up to them, but I just want to continue to do what I love and put it out there and share it with the world.
That's so awesome, Lyle. Students have swarmed in for a chance to participate in a workshop with world-renowned choreographer Lyle Beniga. They're hyped up even before class begins, and they warm up by showing the other students what they've got. These students seem to be excellent dancers themselves. What in particular are they hoping to learn from Lyle today?
그 라일베니만의 독특한 그 느낌이 있어요. 그 에너지랄까. 그래서 그 춤을 출 때 그런 본인의 필하고 감각이라든지 그런 거, 그 연기력 그런 거만 그 소름 끼칠 정도로 그 움직임 하나하나가 너무나 그 느낌으로 와닿기 때문에 학생들한테 굉장히 도움이 되고 어떤 탤런트적인 것까지도 배울 수 있어서 굉장히 좋은 기회가 될 수 있을 것 같습니다.
The students stretch out before the class. In one corner of the room, students prepare themselves by watching Lyle's videos.
전 세계적인 안무가시다 보니까 이미 유튜브를 통해서도 되게 많이 보고 무브먼트라든지 이렇게 홈페이지 통해서도 되게 많이 접했던 분이어서 정말 우상 같은 분이시죠.
그 라일베니가만의 그 느낌이랑 탄력 안무 짜는 능력 같은 것도 한번 배워보고 싶어요.
Lyle is finally in the building. And the response is ear-splitting. Looks like Lyle has as many fans as the stars he works with. The class begins with a demonstration by Lyle. The cheers immediately die down and everyone is alert and focused. The students hold their breath as they watch Lyle's every move.
The rhythm is a 1, 2, and ka. Yeah? So, 7, 8, and a 1.
Here and there, you hear odd gasps and low cheers from around the room. It's the students' turn to learn. The students seem to find the moves a little difficult. Their clothes are all drenched with sweat, and the dancing seems exhausting, but the students seem happy just to have this opportunity to struggle with each move. Lyle doesn't go easy on them, and he tries to help them perfect each gesture. The routine is repeated over and over, but the energy doesn't die down.
그렇게 되고 싶어요. 네. 존경해요. 네. 느낌이 있는, 네. 좀 더 느끼고, 네. 그런 표현이 좋은 것 같아요.
저는 그런 박자감이 좀 없어서 조금만 까먹으면 실수도 많이 하고 그러는데 그런 점을 거의 완벽히 하시니까 제가 아직도 연습할 게 많구나. 되게 좋은 기회였던 것 같아요.
Time flies and the class is over, but this short encounter with Lyle Beniga is sure to inspire these dancers for many years to come.
I know you are here for a workshop. Tell us a little bit about the workshop and how this came about for you.
Yeah, well, the workshop is live in motion. This, I guess, is a new idea for the Korean community out here, the dance community out here, to bring choreographers out there in this kind of scale. But I've been here for the past like 4 or 5 years, like on and off, like working with different artists and different record companies, choreographing for them, and
some of the biggest stars in Korea too.
Yeah. You know, it's awesome. But like, yeah, this is actually the very first time to teach the dance community out here, and I've always been wondering what the dance community is like out here. You know, I would meet some from time to time during my adventures here, but then to actually come here and teach, and I already taught 2 classes. I'm like mind blown by the talent that's out here. So,
wow.
Yeah.
What do you think might be some of the differences between the dancers that you see in the States as opposed to here?
Differences, I feel like here and amongst around the world besides the US, like people appreciate dance a little bit more, like because it's something that is, you know, it's not just for fun. It is for fun and it isn't, but they appreciate how we came to be in the States. Like, I feel like the States is like, by far, like, and I take pride of it, is like they are the originators for a lot of different dance styles, you know, and overseas, you know, they just, you know, almost some parts perfected, you know what I'm saying? And I'm inspired by a lot of things that I see when I go around the world, you know, and when I say appreciate, they appreciate, you know, they study what we do, like to a T, and then the culture, and they pay attention, they listen, you know. Their mind is open, more open to a lot of different things compared to, you know, what I've experienced in US. Not to say that US dancers are not open, but I know for sure, like, you know, Europeans, you know, they could start doing locking, popping, doing choreography, and be amazing at all of them. So that's a rare thing, you know. And jazz, ballet, they could be amazing at all of those, and that's inspiring to me, and it makes me want to work on my craft more.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you're normally seen wearing a hat.
That's true.
And I'm just curious, what made you decide to wear this really funky, cool hat today?
Well, one is because I didn't know if my hair is gonna be crazy. Like this, I'm not used to having long hair. I usually shave my head all the time. So just recently, like past 2 or 3 months, I've been keeping hair. So I feel really weird. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But you know, when I see myself in pictures, I'm like, man, it's so weird to see myself with hair. So let me put this back on. And
You'll have a lot of the like lady fans up like, oh my God, I want to see him with his hair.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to bring this guy out.
That's too funny. So when you're traveling to Korea most of the time, it's been to work with some of the famous Korean artists, right? Tell us about your involvement with Park Jin-young.
Oh yeah.
YG Park.
JYP. He was the first person that brought me out to Korea, you know, and
how did you first meet each other?
I met him in New York. Like he found out about my stuff through YouTube, you know, and this is around the time when I first started putting stuff up. I think within the same year, probably like started putting stuff up, like maybe say in January, and then around like November or something, he called me up and wanted me to work with some of his artists out there, and I met him in New York. And I didn't know what to expect because I knew nothing about, you know, Korean music or even much less Korean artists. But he was so cool, like down to earth for a CEO. And he spoke really good English. And yeah, he was super down to earth, and to work with him was really fun. Like we did like a breakdown like for one of his concerts that we did. And again, I didn't know what to expect. He said he was going to put it on YouTube. Next thing I know, like a week later, is like I get so many hits on my Twitter. I'm like, what is going on? What is this JYP Hammer Dance video going on? I look on YouTube and it already has like, you know, 1 million hits or something like that. I'm like, what is going on? I didn't know it was like that, you know, crazy of a following. And I just started researching more and doing my homework. And then the more music I listened to, I became a fan. I started becoming a fan of like Korean music, you know, maybe let me work with other artists, you know. I think Taeyang was the next artist that I started working with. And even working with him, like he's so like humble, you know, eager to learn. And also, like he always focused every single time. Like his focus was amazing, and work ethic was amazing. And that's why he's such an amazing dancer. Like he does my stuff effortlessly, and he puts that flavor. Like if I was an artist, I would want to sing or be him. You know, I see myself like if I was an artist, I would want to be able to do that. So I kind of put myself in that place and give him myself to him.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
I imagine that when you're working with these performers, that it's inevitable for you to get close to them and get to know them and become even friends because you're working so closely. Can you describe to me what your friendship or your working relationship with Park Jin-young was like?
Oh yeah, it was really down to earth. Like he'll always just hit me up. His manager would hit me up about doing certain projects here and there, and then, you know, I would come in with prepared choreography. He'll come in and tweak a little bit. Like his involvement was there. Like he definitely had his 2 cents and what his audience, he feels his audience is correct with. I have my preference as a dancer and as a choreographer, what I want, you know, what I would like to see, you know, what I think is most effective, and he has his. So we find a median to, you know, be able to satisfy both rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's so open. Like, it's not like he shuts me down completely. Like, no, I want it exactly like this. You know, he has his way, but then, you know, I do too. Like I can have a say, and he's open for it. You know.
That must be by your working with him and also Taeyang and some of the other Korean artists. You're having a real influence in Korean dance, in Korean K-pop type dance.
Oh yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Oh man, I don't know. It's. I mean, I see it. I kind of see it. You know, it's cool to see. You know, when I see other choreography, it's like, oh, cool. Like, you know, what we kind of just brought over here, and you know, the influence that, you know, I guess our style or my style, you know, brought to the table with Korean dancers, and it's awesome to see. I don't know. Like, every questions like that just throws me off guard, because I don't see myself as like, you know, outside and looking at myself and like he's doing this and people are receiving or you know, loving him for X reason or whatever. I just see from here what I love to do and just sharing it. Like right now, I want to share it to whoever I'm working with and what they do with it. I love to see that happen, you know, on stage or on film or on television.
Let's get back to talking about you now. Because obviously dance is something that not only are you extremely talented at, but it seems to be really rooted in your passion. And it's like your passion is just being expressed through your body. Tell us about how you got into dance, because you got into professional dance a little bit later, right? So tell us about how you kind of fell into this profession.
Okay, cool, yeah. Well, I was always into dancing, like, you know, I always loved music. I always listened to it, and I always wanted to move every time I heard it, you know, all types of music. So I was always that kid in school where people were like, hey, I want you to dance, Lyle, like he's so good, watch him dance. And I'll just do whatever, you know, as a child, like 8 years old, you know, I wasn't afraid. But
that's so cute.
Yeah, but you know.
Do you have like videos of you as a kid dancing too?
I don't think so, actually. Yeah, I maybe. Yeah. I would like to see that, but yeah, you know. But I didn't really figure out that dance is what I wanted to do until later on in my life, you know, like. Not even high school, like after college, right? Or during college.
You went to school in Maryland for engineering, right?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, that's so different than dance.
Yeah, it is, right? Exactly. Well, like all my life, you know, because the schools I went to and in the community I was in, you know, art wasn't really reinforced, you know. I was always really good at certain things, like even art, like drawing. I wanted to be a pencilist, like a comic book pencilist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I won awards when I was younger, but then it just kind of stopped, you know, because I know.
So you've always had a creative streak.
Yeah. I don't want to blame the schooling that's involved, but it didn't make me realize it, and you know, I didn't realize what I really wanted to do until afterwards, because I went to a school that was, you know, solely based on like, you know, math, you know,
like pure academics.
Yeah, and I was doing it. I had plans to do, you know, to major in engineering and you know, study it, but you know, it was getting scarier and scarier. Like high school, it started getting scarier and scarier about the real world, because it's coming. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't even know if I want to do engineering. So, but it wasn't until my freshman year, around the middle time of my freshman year, there was like an event where, you know, you could take free classes, you know, from the dance department, and they would teach. There was one person that would teach hip hop, and I took it, and it instantly clicked. Like I instantly liked it and instantly fell in love with it, and I probably did that routine for the next like 3 months.
Really?
You know? Yeah, just because I love doing like learning stuff and try to learn more from other people, and then it just snowballed into like discovering other stuff like about hip hop, like popping, training, locking, b-boying. You know, I started getting my education in all the dance foundations, but as well as choreography learning.
So did you start off thinking that you wanted to be a dancer, or you just wanted to dance?
I just wanted to dance. Yeah, I just wanted to dance, but I knew I wanted to be a dancer probably, you know, the end of my sophomore year. I was like, okay, this is definitely you know, what I want to do. That's it's taken over my whole brain, and it was tough for my parents.
I was going to ask, because your parents are Filipino American,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure as much as they love you and they see that you're talented, you know, I come from a conservative Asian family too.
Yeah. Well, my whole family, like even that isn't used to that. They're all like professionals in the medicine and engineer. My dad is an engineer. So yeah, like I had to really like prepare it. Like, okay, I got to be smart about this. I can't just be stupid and say, okay, I'm gonna quit school and just move to LA and see what happens. You know, I had to have a plan. You know, I had to have a plan, and I love my parents so much. You know, to disappoint them is hard for me, but this is something that I love to do, and I had to like sit them down and say, okay, this is what I want to do, and I have X amount of time, and I'm gonna save X amount of money to go out there, and these are the steps that I'm gonna take along the way to do it. You know, and I'm gonna need your help, and I tell them like I'm gonna need your help for a lot of this. You know.
And I bet auditioning, the auditioning process is pretty grueling too, because you're going on so many go-sees and so many auditions. And, and to finally be selected.
Exactly.
Is like,
exactly. You know, because I mean, I had to see it like this, because it could have psyched me out. Like, I'm not getting picked. It's like, oh, I should just move out. I had to see it like every single audition is training for me. You know, it's to get better and better and better, and that was my main goal. You know, that's what I put the prize for myself, like moving to LA and getting better and being able to share it.
How did you decide to become a choreographer then? Like, you kind of got your feet wet in the Beat Seekers with your team, but to actually go and not just be a dancer, but to also choreograph, because they're very different paths too.
Yeah, very different. Well, when I moved to LA, you know, I just wanted to be a dancer. You know, I taught previously before, but I wanted just to become a dancer and be able to just make a living for what I love to do. Just you know, a good living, and you know, it'll be awesome just to work with artists too. You know, that I looked up to, that influenced me. And yeah, like after that, you know, in between, you know, I just started getting inspiring, because I would take classes nonstop, like all types of classes, and the itch to teach or create again. You know, not just through dance, because you can create something as a dancer learning choreography and transform it. You know, but for myself, you know, I wanted to actually make up stuff and teach it and see what it looks like to other people. So that's when I started teaching at Debbie Reynolds is a studio.
Yeah, it's a pretty famous studio.
Yeah, in LA. But yeah, I started teaching there, and class was really cool. Like, it was really receptive. It was received very well, and then received very well. Sorry, but yeah. Then I started just putting stuff on YouTube just to promote my class, and not knowing that all of a sudden it's starting to pick up to other countries, and then people, like, I would see in different languages, like, who is hitting me up on Facebook or making comments like, this is crazy, you know, like, there's that many people. This is before YouTube. The phenomenon happened, you know what I'm saying? So it was...
It's like what year around?
Oh, man.
Like
I mean, it was around, what happened for me was like around 2006. Yeah, 2006, 2007. And it was around, but not into the capacity for dancers to be able to show their stuff and even make a living based off YouTube. It was before all that. So
you're like a pioneer.
Oh man, there you go again. Nice. But I don't would say that. But yeah, I started putting stuff out, and that's when I, you know, like literally a month or two later, like people wanted to bring me out in workshops overseas, and they're like, whoa, workshop, I don't even know what that means. Just teach classes, you know, to you know, students like in Sweden or you know, Czech Republic, Germany, you know.
So you've been able to travel a lot with doing choreography just to teach people.
Just to teach, and it was so awesome because they knew me as Lyle. They didn't know me as Lyle behind a backup singer, you know, and that was new at the time. You know, this is Lyle with his credits, Usher, blah 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 blah. It was just Lyle, you know. And I was like, whoa, this is cool, because the workshops I would take and when I was still training hard as a young guy.
You're still young.
Yeah, it was all like the credits, and you know that was the wow factor of it all. So now it's cool that you could you're able to see the product itself, like on a platform like YouTube.
Let's talk a little bit about your first job as a dancer. What was that first gig that you got?
Oh, Hilary Duff tour, world tour. Yeah, the very first gig.
Had you listened to her music before? Or?
Never, never. Yeah, and it was crazy that I got a tour for my first gig, and the dancers that they picked were amazing that I looked up to. So I was really green, and you know, as far as the experience, but it was fun.
Yeah?
It was fun. Yeah, it was. I never listened to her music, but you know, the fans that she brought in, because it was like she was really big in Disney at the time.
Yes.
I think she's from Disney or Nickelodeon, one of those. But yeah, she was. All the kids would come in, and you know, wanted to just, you know.
And she wanted you to do like hip hop, right?
Yeah. Well, the choreographer at the time hired me, so yeah, like it wasn't really hip hop. It was just pop.
Okay.
Yeah. Pop industry, you know, dancing. So
what was that experience like? Now you've had a lot of experience as a dancer and choreographer since then, but at that time, being taught certain moves and maybe not necessarily your most favorite style of dance.
Yeah.
What was it like to kind of adjust to a different style?
You, as a dancer, you have to like adjust to anything that comes your way, you know. A great dancer is someone that can take, not to say that everything is horrible, that I've learned horrible stuff, but a great dancer can take horrible stuff and make it look amazing, you know. And that's the one thing that, you know, stuck in my mind when, you know, people I look up told me about that. So that's really important. So I had to take any kind of choreography that was thrown at me and just make it my own. And that's why I got hired in the first place. So, you know, yeah.
What was it first like for you when you were standing in front of all of her fans? Because she's got, you know, quite a number of fans, especially around that time. Like, what was it like to be, you know, on stage and screaming?
Yeah,
people?
for like thousands and thousands of people, it's crazy. The energy is like indescribable, you know, because there was a live band with her too. So that live band just gave so much energy, and then you know the audience just kept on giving it back, and you know it was awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then since that time, you've been able to work with some really top stars in the States, Christina Aguilera, and one of my favorites, Usher.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been asked about Usher, you know, a million times, but I'm curious, if you had to choose like your most favorite style of dance and dancer and music, who would it be of all the people that you've worked with?
Usher.
Yeah.
Usher, for sure.
So can I guess, is it Usher?
Exactly.
Is it Usher?
No, I think it's Usher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like everything about that tour is, you know, perfect for me, you know, because first, like, he's really cool. The choreographer that he has that's been with him for a long time is someone I highly respect and look up to. His name's Akaman Jones, AJ, and I love doing his choreography. I absolutely love doing his choreography.
So you're working together with Akaman Jones to make
oh no, this is solely AJ's
Okay.
job. Like he hired me to do this job, which was funny because the past two Usher auditions for that tour, I got cut.
Oh really?
Yeah, just chop. First cut. Yeah. Not even no breaks. Like just cut. But then, but this is before he was because I guess they changed choreographers. But then AJ came back and then you know. Did a private audition, got hired. So I never thought I would dance for Usher because I'm short compared to him, but it worked out.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So
just dance big.
You know, if you had to choose, who's the better dancer, you or Usher?
I gotta say sorry, Usher. I think I got you, man. We'll look at it. We could battle it out the next time I see you, though, for
There
sure.
you go.
For sure, we'll battle it out.
I think a lot of people might agree. I love you, Usher, though.
Yeah, I just gotta film it, though. That's all.
There you go. Next time we'll have like a battle, battle of the dancers.
Oh, right? That'll be awesome.
That's too funny. Of some of the moves that you've learned on tour, do you have a really favorite move that you liked from that tour with Usher?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Yeah.
So many. It's the stuff that I grew up on, because we do all the old moves from all the music videos and performances. You Make Me Want to Dance wanted me to learn choreography. That was the first video. And to be able to do it on the chair and all this stuff, it's awesome. It's so So like every single time I get into that mode, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this right now.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the stuff I looked up to. Yeah.
When you're dancing on stage with Usher fans, what was that like? Because I bet that's a completely different crowd than the Hilary Duff and Christina Aguilera
Definitely.
crowd.
It is definitely my generation that's watching these concerts. Very young adult. Like I said, it's a perfect tour for me. And where I'm at in my career. This is probably one of the only things I still want to do as a dancer, and I'll still keep going if they, he wants me back. So yeah.
What do you think it is about him that makes you want to work with him? If the opportunity were there.
Again, his choreographer too, Marty Kudelka, is amazing to me, and he's a pioneer in his own right as well. So, and just his music is so inspiring to me, and I love dancing to his music. Yeah. When you're listening to any kind of song, do you feel like you can just come up with a hip hop choreographed dance for any kind of song? Like, let's say, even if it's not hip hop, could you come up with a hip hop like dance move? And yeah, I'm pretty sure that I can do that, especially working with some Korean artists and what kind of music they give me. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with this? I sometimes think that, like, every single time, almost like, what am I supposed to do with this song right now? I'm supposed to choreograph this, but I make it work. I make it work, and I'm so happy with the results each and every time. I'm really, it surprises me, like, because I'm still learning. Every day I'm learning something new, about myself and about dance. So that's the beautiful thing about what I do. Like, you just won't ever stop learning, ever. You could learn till the day you die. Yeah.
Where do you get a lot of your inspiration for doing the different dance moves? Because I know that there are kind of the classic dance moves within hip hop, but where do you get inspiration to make kind of the new moves that people have never seen before?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
New moves. I would say, I don't know if anything of my stuff is like new, but as far as like a vibe, my inspiration is based on actually movies.
Really?
Movies, music, actors. I'm like Denzel Washington for an example. Like his whole swag when he just talks, like he has this thing with his finger, like and like his whole flavor when he just does the stuff. Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, how do I translate that as a dancer?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, do you ever name moves after people?
No, I don't think I've ever tried.
This is the Denzel move.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to name a move, but one of my homies from Japan, she's so amazing. Her name's Rie Hata, and I would teach her some stuff, and then she started teaching her in Japan and just started calling this like a Beniga bounce. She says, "This is a Beniga bounce," and I didn't know what it was because by her she kept on saying it, and then she showed me. It's like, that's what I do. I didn't know I did that.
What is the Beniga bounce?
Like, just a little hiccup. So it's not like a boom, boom. It's like. A Beniga bounce. That's
I
what
like
is.
it. I'm gonna have to learn.
Yeah, let's do it.
So how would you teach me the Beniga bounce?
A Beniga bounce?
Yeah.
You want me to show you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Can we do it like sitting down?
Okay,
here?
yeah. So think of this.
Uh-oh.
So it's hard because now you're gonna have to use your butt instead of your legs.
Okay.
So I'm just down. So use your shoulders. Ding, ding. And now your neck. And then you want to kind of like, exactly, that was good. Now you want to kind of like hiccup, do a hiccup like,
Like this?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's awesome.
All right,
That's
thank you.
good.
I know the Beniga bounce, everyone.
I did not call it Beniga bounce. I don't know if I want to call it that, but that's just what they said.
I do. I have a nervous twitch, actually. I have always had a nervous twitch since I was a kid, and when I get really stressed or even like excited, I twitch my ear all the time, like all the time. And that's the one thing I gotta hide, because if I'm like anxious, like, oh, I'm twitching my ear, I'm like, oh, stop it. Okay, I need to stop doing that now.
So Lyle, in addition to working with some of the greatest stars here in Korea and stateside, you've done choreography with the MTV Music Awards and Dancing with the Stars. Tell us a little bit about the MTV Music Awards and what that was like for you.
Oh yeah, well, I've done the MTV Awards a couple of times already, but like I guess the most memorable one was the Michael Jackson tribute. This is like shortly right after, he passed away, like maybe by a matter of like a few weeks. I just know like the MTV Awards was definitely the next awards show after he passed away. But yeah, like during rehearsals, it was so awesome to see. Like it was like literally the best dancers in the industry that I looked up to, people I looked up to, my peers, and new generation, old generation. I felt like they were all here. They're all there, and yeah, but not only that, it was all in good spirits. I didn't feel any pressure, other than just to be able to, honor Michael Jackson properly, because he's the man that influenced the entire world.
Absolutely. There's no one that's really ever been like him.
Exactly. Yeah, who has had that much impact, in his music and his passion. And his dance, yeah, he influenced, all of us, So when you actually performed on stage for the Music Awards, what was that like? Oh, well, for that one, I was definitely taken back. Such an emotional performance for me, I haven't been that nervous ever,
Really?
Yeah, because I was so psyched, I was focused, and the energy in me, I felt like the spirits is taking over me to just, come attack this award show. And man, it was such a great feeling for me, like, by the end of it. It was like a couple of us were just walking back to our hotels in New York, Times Square, and we're just like, yeah, no, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Like, just yelling like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that energy, just to be able to release it, is really emotional for everyone, really. Yeah.
When you're choreographing for something like the movie Fame, how is that different than doing a tour or doing choreography for people?
Well, specifically this one, because you have to think about the camera, and the camera blocking and how, it's going to be filmed. So that's what I took into major consideration. And as far as doing that one, it was crazy because I've never done a film before, even a major U.S. Gig, and that was like one of my first ones. And yeah, it was an amazing experience.
How are you selected for that?
I gotta say again, I think it was through YouTube.
Wow, the power of YouTube and the internet.
I mean, I had an agent. I had an agent, and she pitched me because they were looking for new choreographers, and she pitched me, not on a resume, because didn't have a choreography resume. I was still a dancer, but just off my YouTube channel, sent it to the director, and immediately he wanted to work with me for it. So I was like, man, it's crazy.
So what was different about working in front of a camera as opposed to just on stage?
So many takes.
Yeah.
You could do takes over and over and over again, and the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to be on every single time. Every single time you got to be on, at least for your performance level here. Has to be on every single time. If there's one bit of 1 minute that you're like gonna be tired, they might use that cut into the sequence. But yeah, that's the one thing.
When you think about the road that you've gone on to becoming a world famous choreographer, doing all these incredible shows and tours, it's not always been easy, I'm sure. But what would you kind of give advice to up and coming dancers and choreographers? What kind of advice would you give them as to avoiding some of the difficulties that you've had to endure? Or can they even avoid difficulties?
You have to accept difficulties, that it's going to come. It's going to come with the territory that you're in. And maybe some people are fortunate enough to not face that, but it's going to come. You're going to face some kind of difficulty, whether it's personal or whether it has to do with the industry. It's just when you move to LA, like the only thing that you should know is that always keep in mind is why you're there in the first place. It's because you love dance, That should be the only reason. Like you love dance so much, that's why you're in LA. So, because I've seen a lot of times when people move to LA, they want to do dancing, but then if it's not working in their favor, they automatically want to kind of give up on it, or is cynical about the industry, and which is fine, but when I see them quit dancing, I would never do that. I would never do that because I love dancing so much. That's the one thing that you always have to keep in mind. Just know that you love it. If you move to LA, that will get you through it. Yeah.
What do you think makes a good dancer great?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Well, I guess to always think that you're learning. You can't reach to a point where you know it all ever. And I have seen that. Like people want to make spiels or lectures on new kids or other people that's not doing what they're doing. You could learn from everything. Like I'm learning from new generation, old generation, my peers. Everything is there to be learned, and that's the most powerful thing about dance is it's not limited.
And let me ask a similar question for choreography. What do you think it takes to become a really great choreographer?
To be a great choreographer, you definitely have to know foundation. A lot of times, like people that are in the choreography, they have no foundational roots. People want to be choreographers before they're dancers, and I get those kind of messages all the time. People who've never danced in their life, how do they become a choreographer? You dance first.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the most obvious question?
Yeah,
obvious answer?
Right.
But yeah, like you just have to, you know, learn the basic stuff. Like people that see me on YouTube or anywhere else on YouTube, you want to skip the steps that we took to get there, you know, and just do that, not knowing that there's a very, very solid foundation, whether it's locking, popping, grooving, you know, anything that we're doing. It's translates to what we do now, you know. So, and as far as choreography, you know, to have foundation, put it this way, like when you see popping, locking, b-boying, now it's the person, to the untrained eye, it's still amazing to people. It's still amazing to people. You'll see poppers, lockers, or b-boys that are getting down in the street, and people will stop and say like, wow, and clap. And, like, it's so amazing, you know? And that's forever. And it's been around for like 30 years. It won't ever get old. It won't ever get old. So yeah, always learn your stuff, and then your longevity in the game and choreography will just last longer and longer. You'll pass the trends. Yeah.
Very cool. Going forward, what are some of your future plans and hopes in the next, you know, year or 5 to 10 years?
Oh, gosh. So I definitely want to get into directing. So yeah, directing like stage shows, and yeah, and more choreographing for more artists, and yeah, that's one of the main goals. And possibly making like the studio back home in DC and giving back to the community over there that, you know, helped, you know, build who I am. So, and I feel like, you know, it's time to give back for something like that, because the community is still small there. Provide for something.
I'm sure they would love to have you go and teach them.
Yeah. I don't ever. It's been a while since I go there and teach, and I don't do it often. But when I do, like the community out there really shows love and support. So.
Yeah, I can see why, because you're so personable, and I've, you know, just met you, you know, today, and I can see that just even from the students that you're teaching with the workshop, there's a great camaraderie that they tend to feel with you while they look up to you as a great mentor. So, you know, with teaching kids back in DC or elsewhere, I can see that it's going to be a really great thing for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
Lyle, it's been such a great joy to have you here on our show, and I just can't wait to see more and more of the work that you're going to be doing. And with all the luck in the world, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for being with me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You take care.
Make me wanna say, oh, 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 my God. You make me wanna say, oh, 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 oh. I fell in love with Shawty when I seen her on the dance floor. She was dancing sexy, pop, pop, popping.